me, Dan Reichert. I have played and beaten Metroid Prime 4, really marathoning this game over the last 3 days. I just finished the game with 98% items. No idea where those last two were, but I'll go back a second time. Folks, if you are hearing this, that means the embargo has lifted on Metroid Prime 4 review coverage, which I have written a full review, written style, if you've ever heard of that. That is on our website. That is on giantbomb.com. So if you want to hear my full thoughts out there, not just rambly, podcast style, I would say go to giantbomb.com, read my review. But this is a game that I'm the only one here who has played it outside of demos and preview events and stuff like that. So I want to field questions from the Metroid Curious here on this call. That's right. I've got Jeff Grubb, Mike Minotti, Jeff Bakalar, Turbo Shawn, all here, all interested in the Metroid Prime 4. Folks, hit me with your questions.
Were you able to romance Miles?
No. I have thoughts about Miles. If you want me to go into it, we can do that now.
I don't, yeah, and I'm like terrified of spoilers still, and I normally am not, but
Story
Metroid
spoilers,
Prime 4 is
which
just...
this is good to say up front here for folks. Like, I'm not going to, it's a Metroid game. There's not a ton of story going on here, but I think I can speak to things like the concerns about Miles and the chatty characters and stuff like that.
Well, I think at the very top, what would be the most helpful is like, what's the deal, man? You like this game or what? Like, what?
5 stars.
What do you think?
5 stars.
So
Five stars.
Perfect
All
game.
right.
That is not what a 5 stars means. That's not what
Perfect
a 10 out of 10 means. No, that's never what it
A plus.
means in a video
A
game
plus.
review.
Bakalar.
No, I've got a couple issues with it.
Wait, are there more than 5 stars on the scale?
No.
Okay, got it. Just
5 doesn't say perfect. 5 doesn't say perfect.
I guess my question there is that, Metroid Prime 1 to me is this monolithic game, and then it has 2 sequels that are also good to very good, but few people will say that they are as good as Metroid Prime 1. When you're saying that this is 5 out of 5, that is actually beyond my expectations for a Metroid Prime sequel.
Yes. How are you handling this, Mike? I need a wellness check.
I'm trying
now.
I'm trying to keep my excitement in check because I was already excited. I played the demo at a Target kiosk, and then Dan coming out, with that kind of score. I mean, should I be expecting to like this as much as Metroid Prime 1?
Okay.
I guess all you can be now is disappointed, I would say.
So I will say this. I'm going to hold off on, I actually have not written the review yet. I have the outline, but I'm going to hold off on any super declarative, like, this is the better than 1 or whatever. I will say for sure, definitively, this is definitely better than 2 and 3. It's not even a discussion. I could see a world where after I let it simmer a bit and really think about it and everything, where I do say this is my favorite one. But I'm not going to definitively say that yet. I will say the feeling I had playing this for 16 hours, I can only compare it to the feeling I had playing Metroid Prime 1 in winter break 2002.
Okay. 16.
Mm-hmm. And I did. So again, that was
about right.
And
that was
that is about where the other ones were as well.
Yep,
and that was with 98% items, which you can get these like kind of scout bots at a certain point that'll tell you like, okay, in this area, we're going to mark the collectibles. And here's the overworld scout bot where we can mark that and everything. And I got every one of them that the scout bot pointed out. And I went back, I did a whole thing. I was up till 3 or 4 last night getting everything. And then it's like, I got to the point where it's like, hey, do you want to move forward? I mean, there's no going back after this. And I was like, well, I'm at 98%. I definitely want to get 100. Maybe that last 2% is in the like end game. And I did not get it. So I got to figure out where the last 2% is. But yes, it's 98% on items. I was at like 93% scans. If you remember, scans from the old Metroid Prime. So like,
right.
I went very hard on it. So that was close to completionist, I would say.
Okay, I guess my thought, and this does kind of lead us to, the concerns on the internet, but the overall feel of the game, I'm wondering, because Dan, you're at least familiar with all of the Metroid Prime games. We talked a little bit, like, you reviewed Prime 3 back in the day, but that was, like 17 years ago or whatever. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, does it feel mostly like Metroid Prime 1, where it is more isolated? Okay.
Kind of specifically about isolating. So if that's the question, because
hang on, because as the series went on, it's clear that Retro wanted it to be Nintendo's Halo, because Halo was popping off at the time. So by the time they got to 3, they could develop it in a way where it was more cinematic, more cutscenes. The beginning was a lot about the Federation, and then it puts you into traditional, Metroid Prime as you expected from 1, and the most part 2. I'm just curious if it sounds to me like they struck a balance based on the way you've talked about it so far.
I think so. It definitely does not seem like, outside of the beginning, which some of you have played and seen, it does not feel at all like it's going for like a Halo vibe or like a Call of Duty campaign level or anything like that. That first setup is very much like, oh, we're charging the thing. We got to get the artifact. We got like, oh, yelling and shooting in a big war scene and stuff like that. That is kind of the only time you're going to see that level of it. Now, there are characters that they introduce, starting with Miles, which we've talked about on podcasts and stuff so far. And there is a crew. There is a crew that you do find. It is a limited crew. They definitely are not all like Miles. They are, different, just kind of archetype of soldier types and stuff. There's like, a girl that's like, kind of fangirling. I was like, oh my God, it's Samus. Oh, I want to open the door with Samus. I want to take a picture with her, like that type of stuff. But I will say, I don't have a lot of tolerance for obnoxious characters that talk a lot and stuff like that. Like I hate like the Aloys and the Mimirs and things like that. None of it is that. None of it is that. Like that first part you've seen when you meet Miles and you get him down in Fury Green and stuff. He's being kind of talkative and stuff. After that, Miles is mostly relegated to like, I thought it was going to be more of a codec thing because when you go to the map, you can hit X to call the radio. And like half the time, if you're in like one of the big areas or whatever, like I'll call them dungeons for the lack of a better term, it just says communication disabled. So you couldn't even talk to him if you wanted to. And then it's just like the time he'll kind of chime in on the radio is like, oh, in between these big kind of more dungeon-like areas, you're kind of roaming the open world. And he'll just be like, if the game senses that you've just kind of been driving around aimlessly for a while, he'll come in and be like, hey, you got that thing. You should maybe you can go past that lava river now, and it'll show up on your map. So he'll kind of like nudge you in a direction, but it's few and far between.
So it is Metroid Prime 4, the sequel to Prime 3, but maybe made knowing that a lot of the core fan base really identifies with 1 the most when it comes to Metroid Prime, and so they made with that in mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like 2 and 3 kind of took swings where it's like 2 had the whole kind of Dark World thing going on, which kind of turned me off. That's kind of my least favorite thing in the Prime series. And then Prime 3, it's on the Wii, a bunch of motion control stuff. As you mentioned, Shawn, there's more kind of like a story and things going on there. So this one, despite the fact that it is quote unquote like an open world and introduces some new elements like, the motorcycle, it really does feel a lot more like 1 than it does 2 or 3.
Cool.
When we were talking early, you were kind of giving us your early ideas of like what you were feeling about the game, and you were hovering around like a 4.5. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's just something like you were just like feeling it early on. Is there a moment where you're like, hey, this is a 5-star game. This is exactly what I wanted. Like, go ahead and
It was last night.
Yeah.
So I was actually like pretty much all day and all night last night I was playing, and it was during that really lengthy playthrough. As I was kind of going back and kind of just mopping up everything before the big stretch at the end, where I was like, once you have all these powers and stuff, and it's that Metroid thing that like you're going back to old areas, but now the enemies are going down easier. You have access, all these things that you were just kind of like making a mental note of before, like, oh, okay, I'm going to need a spider ball to get through there or whatever. When you have it all, then it's just like, all right, this place is blown wide open. All the doors are open for me, and it's like I was having so much fun. And it does that ability. The thing where as you keep gaining abilities, the game just keeps getting more and more fun just to move around these spaces. And like as I'm moving through these old spaces, it's like, oh, I remember when I didn't have this or that or this or the double jump and stuff. And now I'm just flying around. I'm grappling around. I'm killing things. I'm charging up a triple thunder shot and screwing up all these robots that messed me up before. It's I was like, I had that moment where it's like, I don't know what else I would want a Metroid Prime game to be than this. This is exactly what I want.
What about the motorcycle? Like, how much of that is in the game? Is it interesting? Is it mostly like kind of just transporting you to different kind of sections of the area? Is it like its own giant area of itself where it feels more open?
Yeah, so it is very much relegated to that open world. So Soul Valley is the hub world. And I think this is important to note here is that it is, I'll use the phrase open world for lack of a better term, but this is not the Metroid Breath of the Wild. It is not that. It is Soul Valley is much more akin to Hyrule Field from Ocarina of Time, where it's like it is an open area. You can choose where you want to go. Okay, I'm going to go to Death Mountain. I'm going to go to Lake Hylia, whatever. But there's not a ton of stuff there. It's not a Breath of the Wild where there's 120 shrines. There are like occasional little shrines you go into and solve a small little puzzle. You get some currency and stuff.
Very Zelda-ish. That analogy like completely answers my question and makes sense to me now. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's Hyrule. It is like Hyrule Field. I would not call empty, but it's not like littered with stuff everywhere you turn. So
you wouldn't want it to be, yeah.
No, this is a desert. And it is like, honestly, one of the main things you're doing there is there are these kind of green crystals everywhere, these like clusters of green crystals. And like there are
crystal
different...
mommies are going to be eating well. Okay.
And they're like, so you'll see in your menu, like there's a crystal kind of HUD element. And as you hit certain lines, Miles will call you back and be like, hey, you should come back to the altar. You'll get like an upgrade or whatever. So I would also very much suggest to people, as you are playing, even early on, just be getting a bunch of crystals. If you see a green crystal, they are finite. They don't like regrow. They will regrow clear, and then you just get normal like energy and missiles and stuff like that. But to get that green crystal currency, you want to hit it, and then you only get it once. So get them as you're going through, so you don't feel the need to do a bunch at the end. But anyway, yeah, the motorcycle is for Soul Valley, and there are some fun like little puzzles there and things where it's like, oh, some ramps, and if I can get up to that plateau and hit this boost, or like there's a missile upgrade that is in between this big kind of rock formation, and I can kind of ramp up and hit that, and you get 5 extra missiles. But yes, largely empty, and it is mainly a way to get between. Again, it's kind of like Hyrule Field and Ocarina. There's like 5 main areas, basically. There's like, Fury Green, which, Jeff, you saw. Mike, you had mentioned before the kind of lightning area from the trailers. That is Volt Forge, which Volt Forge is just a stunning area. It's awesome. That's actually
so cool.
That's where you get the bike. And the bike is for getting around Soul Valley, collecting all those crystals, finding the occasional shrine. And then when you go to one of these 5 main areas, there's like a little place that you kind of put your bike, and you just kind of like, you kind of just like rev it up to open it up and move on. Like there's almost like a load screen thing where like, Fury Green will launch you from a cannon into the area. One of them is like kind of a train, like a tram that you go on, Mike, that's almost like a monorail. So there is some obvious separation between like Soul Valley and then these 5 other bigger areas. Yeah.
Okay.
Neat.
The psychic abilities, how much do they factor in? Do they feel like replacements for abilities that we might have had before, but sort of palette swapped? Do they feel completely fresh? Like what?
It is, I would say that is, I don't want to reduce it to just palette swap, but it does feel like there are certainly abilities where it's like, okay, these are things we had before. You just put the word psychic in front of it, and it's kind of like purple now. Sure. There's like, oh, the psychic boost ball and the psychic, spider ball. I don't know if we get all the names right. The psychic grapple, things like that. It's just, instead of the grapple beam, you're getting the psychic grapple. Instead of this, you're getting that. There are a couple that are new. Like, I don't know if they've shown any preview stuff. There's like your charge shot with your energy beam. If you do it while you have kind of the psychic vision on, you can curve it.
Yeah, you can control the...
Bakalar showed that off in our quick look, yes.
Yeah, it's like a heavenly sword when you would shoot an arrow,
Of course.
Like that. So you can like after touch it. And by the way, the gyro stuff in this game, there's a lot of tweaking you can do. So individual abilities where you're like, okay, do I want to be able to like grapple with motion? Do I want to be able to target individual limbs and stuff with motion? Do I want to like, all these very specific things? And I tweaked it a lot because I did find that the gyro stuff was fantastic to use. Which remind me later, I'll touch on the mouse stuff and how I don't even really think that's necessary because like it doesn't do anything that the gyro doesn't do better, honestly. But yeah, the psychic powers, there's the occasional ones where it's like almost like a telekinetic thing where it's like, okay, I just need to move this crystal in a pattern to open a door, which, Metroid Prime 3 did some of that stuff. But it's largely, it's kind of just a branding of like, it's your scanner is through your psychic vision, which it is better now because it's like, instead of little red and orange squares, it is just like the psychic vision. If it is something that you can scan, the entire thing, even if it's a big statue, will all be green and everything else is kind of purple. So things like stick out more and it's easier to kind of get around and figure out what to scan, But yeah, I wouldn't say there's a ton of, like, some of it looks cool. Like the psychic boost ball is like, if you see these certain kind of purple things that the ball can go into, it'll like shoot you along like a spirit track, for lack of a better term.
All right, let's go.
No, this is much better than spirit tracks. But like,
okay.
Yeah, it feels kind of more like a branding aesthetics thing. It's just a lot of purple stuff, a lot of just.
It's not like the Force Awakens all of a sudden.
No, it's just kind of ethereal. Like there's platforms where it's like, let's say there's an area and I can't get up to that platform up there, but you see some like pink clouds. Basically, you can go into your psychic ability. You can just kind of scan the pink cloud basically and to like fill in these psychic platforms and stuff that you can use to get up to that area. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just because each of the Prime games has a theme after one. Like 2 is light and dark, 3 is the phase out. This sounds like psychic is sort of just the theme of this game.
It's the theme, and it's like even it comes down to the suit. Like Samus has the crystal in her helmet and everything. So yeah, that is the theme. You were getting talked to from a lot of ghosts of an ancient race of aliens.
Hell yeah,
it is a
that's
Metroid
what I
game.
want.
There's a lot of ancient ghosts talking to you.
That's on brand. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am curious though about like the mouse controls and like just if you experiment with all the control types. Can you do like the classic more tank style control? Is that even an option in this one?
Boy, tanks are like without dual analog.
Like
Oh,
yeah,
you
how
really need to think
Metroid
about
1
that.
originally did. I don't even know if
I
that's
did not
I don't know if I want it to be an option. But
I kind of like the idea of the purest controls. I mean, I would never use them, but yeah.
I did not see that option. I don't know if there's a way you could tweak it to make that the case. But it's like, this is more like if you played Metroid Prime Remastered. A lot of that is more like by default how it feels, which felt great. So the thing is, a lot of these boss fights specifically, again, you might have seen some of them, will have very specific weak points to hit. And if you just do the lock on, like the ZL lock on, it just kind of locks on to center mass, you know? And you do need to tweak it a little bit. So like when I did the preview event in New York City, I was doing the mouse mode. And of course that was set up in the most optimal way with like basically a giant mouse pad in front of me. And it's like, oh, wow, this actually is easier to aim at these 4 spots on this guy's chest or whatever. But I will say it's just as easy and better, honestly, to use the gyro stuff. So you can even tweak the threshold that you need to move the controller for it to kind of break away from that, you know, center lock on. So I kind of mess with that a little bit because you don't want it to be too weak, because most of the time you do want to aim dead center, but you want to be able to break off and like, okay, I need to hit this thing's limbs, you know, at a certain point. So I would say get into those options, tweak the motion control stuff to your liking, because I did think it was very, very solid. But the mouse itself, you know, I did try to do, you know, they say like, oh, you can just put it on your leg, put it on your thigh on the couch or whatever. I mean, it kind of works. I think it could maybe work better in like a Mario Paint, Mario Maker situation where it's not like, you know, there's some difficult boss fights and stuff in here. I tried a few boss fights in several different ways, and the gyro was head and shoulders better than the mouse, I thought.
Okay.
When I was playing, it took me about 15 minutes before I kind of locked back into remembering how it all controls. But I do think there's like quality of life improvements that maybe I wasn't able to like immediately discern. What are you seeing? Do you, as someone who's probably more familiar with like how that original one controlled and how 2 and 3 kind of went, like what is the most substantial and kind of glaring set of improvements that you think you've been able to kind of suss out?
I mean, something that's pretty striking about Metroid Prime back to the first one is that like it aged incredibly well. I played through base Metroid Prime and remastered both in like the last 5 years. And even the base one is like, it still controls very, very well. And there's not a lot of hiccups as far as like quality of life stuff. I would say some of the stuff in this one is just snappier. You get in and out of animations faster, like the boost ball, things like that. Doors open. There's not as many, like you'll notice like a big kind of like load time when you go into or out of these, like from the open world to the big areas. But it's doors open when you shoot them for the most part. I'm not butting up against the game at any point here, I don't think.
I guess along that line, like how kind of guiding was the game? Because we've seen Metroid games, sometimes it's like pretty much
different
hey,
levels,
go figure it out, or sometimes like we're going to show you where to go on this map.
I got stuck exactly as much as I think I want to, because even in that first one,
sometimes that's
I don't want if Miles was in my ear telling me where to go all the time, I would hate that. It's a Metroid game, and like I definitely got lost. I definitely would see missiles and upgrades and be like, I don't know, that's not a new item I need to get. I just don't know how to get there. I have everything I need, like that type of stuff. But even I would say that's an improvement over Metroid Prime 1, because even though I beat that game several times, there are still times where it's like, do I need to go back to that underwater area? And then I'll futz around there for like an hour before I realize I don't really need to be down there. And like, I didn't have any giant time wastes playing this. I would generally know where I needed to be at any given time. And then it's just a matter of figuring out like, okay, what's the puzzle to open this door? How do I get down to that area that's marked? It does do the thing where it's like, here's the map. And then, we've detected the signal that you need to get to is way down here. And it'll kind of pan down there and you got to kind of fill in the blanks to get down there.
Cool. That's always been my favorite thing about Prime 1 and Zero Mission, when they're just like, here's a waypoint. You need to get there eventually. We're not going to tell you how to get there.
It's not a GPS. Yes, it's a waypoint.
Exactly.
There's no GPS stuff here at all.
It's just a pin in the map. I love that stuff.
Which, speaking of that, in the map, in the overworld, you can set markers down. So like early on when it first opened up, because it takes, maybe between an hour and a half to open up kind of Soul Valley. And it opened it up and it was like, okay, you can set markers, and I'm thinking, that's very Breath of the Wild. I can set a missile marker. I can set this or that there. And then they also said, like, basically there's 5 MacGuffins you need to get. And by the time you get there, you've got 2, I want to say, by the time it opens up. And then it's like, all right, there's 3 more to get them in whatever order you want. And I remember I was taking notes being like, okay, wow, they're doing the Breath of the Wild thing. But then it's like, it was clearly trying to tell me to go to this one, but I was thinking it was like, in Breath of the Wild, they're kind of like inching you towards the water area, but you can go to the Rito village or whatever. But they were inching me towards one, and I was like, well, they said any order. There's clearly like this big tower thing over here or whatever. I'm going to go over there and try to go there. And there was a thing blocking me, and that's the time where like Miles would come in and be like, doesn't seem like you're able to cross that right now. It doesn't seem like you're. So it does make me wonder if it is actually linear in terms of like you can't do it in any order. It's weird because they say whatever order you want, and then I tried to go out of the order, and they're like, you can't go there. So I'm guessing that most people will do things in the exact same order if there is even an option to go.
It is cool. It's cool that it's like cryptic enough that you don't know the answer, having finished the game like almost entirely. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna play through it again.
How cinematic was it? I know you said there's not a ton of story, but like when the cinematics did pop up, did they feel like top tier animated television sort of thing, or what?
I mean, the vibe of this game, just from the direction to the look and everything, is just top tier. So even if the story is very much Metroid, ancient race of ghosts, and you're the prophecy chosen one, whatever, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and say the story is the best story I've ever seen in the game.
Yeah.
But the way it's just like, as I'm watching these cutscenes, I'm not a big story guy in games. It's kind of the perfect amount to me. It's enough to just kind of set a mood. I get a sense that you're the bad guy. These guys are on my side. Everything looks really cool. Everything, just the direction of everything is great, and nothing overstays its welcome at all. And I would even say by the end, like the crew is like, I was fond of them. I think that thing is like that. Cool. That relationship and those characters, like I do think it works.
Do you think like for people who want more that they would be able to get more from scanning? I guess how much scanning did you do? Tell me about that.
I scanned everything. That's the thing. I was almost like scanning too much because I kind of learned after a few hours that like, okay, pretty clear that these things, like every box in every area, you can do a different scan to. And you got to wait for the like circle to go around. It's like, this is a medium-sized container meant for moving this from that to that. And it's like, I'm still scanning every one of these for some reason. So it's really taking my time with it. Yeah, it's Prime for sure. But yeah, there's, logbooks and things like that. And if you want to, like, it does a great job of, in the menu, there is a logbook section where it's just kind of broken down to like, okay, here's these Federation soldiers. Here's these enemies. Here's all the kind of flora and fauna of Vuros, the planet. Here's all the enemies. So like, and you can go in there and see a good amount of flavor text and things like that. So if you want to dive deep, if you're into Metroid lore and stuff like that, it's there for you.
Just how pretty is the game, Dan? I mean, it looks very pretty. When I played a little bit, it seemed like it's just the best looking Nintendo game we've ever seen to me. But does that hold up the entire way?
Yes. It is stunning. It seems like it's on a different console. I mean, because the Switch 2, obviously, it's much more powerful than the Switch 1, but like Nintendo's just doing that first party magic where it's like they clearly like, I don't know if they just have a secret code they type in to like unlock some capabilities that third party doesn't have. But
and do not give that code to Game Freak. Whatever you do, they're not allowed.
I don't think they gave it to Bonanza. I mean, Bonanza's art style is great, but this runs way better than Bonanza. It looks just beautiful. Just the design of all these characters, like, and some of the like Samus, as you kind of upgrade your suit and things like that, it's just by the end, you just look at Samus. I was like, God damn, that looks cool. Like, it's just a cool looking character. But all of these areas, they just seem like there's just that sense of like alien religion that surrounds Metroid, and it really nails that tone. It's a lot of just like, chanting as you're looking at these shrines and just these ancient statues and stuff like that. And it's as good as it's ever been in Metroid.
Does Samus talk, and if so, frequently? Like, does she even have like one line?
I don't remember that. There are a couple times where it's like somebody will say something. Like I remember there's one point where she like shrugs her shoulders, and she's got those big balls on her shoulders. Like I've never seen them so defined. Balls. Like like shrugging her shoulders.
Oh God, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. So no,
I'll show you.
What's that?
What's my screen?
There they are.
He's got there's the balls. There's the balls. Yep.
This is my Metroid Prime 1 bobble that came out when that game was new. It's not a bobblehead. It's a bobble torso.
Yeah.
And I love shorter balls.
That reminds me. I stopped buying amiibos a while ago. Mike's just wobbling away.
You all right, Mike?
I stopped buying amiibos a while ago because they just keep making them and they keep getting more expensive. And so like all these Metroid Prime ones they introduce, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, the bike. But now I love the bike. I think the bike looks awesome. I think this game is awesome. But these are super expensive. So I haven't scanned them. I don't know what they do because I don't own the expensive new ones. And I was like, well, surely I've got all these old ones. I've got the cool gummy Metroid. I've got all the cool Samus ones, Dark Samus, all this. So, at least the series ones should do something. Folks, they make sound effects. So you go to the amiibo thing, you scan a Samus, and it just like does the like just like little chimes and stuff.
It's better than like the Zelda ones where it's just like you get 5 rupees.
But that's something that happens in the game. This literally triggers a sound effect in a menu.
Wow,
like in the game. Wow,
they really have given up on amiibo support in the games.
I mean, I don't know what the real expensive ones do, but boy, yeah, don't.
Tell you what, though,
I bet the same thing.
I got two of the Prime 4 amiibo, and they look real nice, man. They look real good.
Like
I've been holding off. I've been holding off just to give people birthday opportunities for me. I'm just giving people a kindness.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I'm holding off.
Birthday opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sold. I'm ready. I am so freaking excited for this game. I mean, gosh, it's been a long time, Dan. Did you go into that with like any of those kind of like, wow, we've been waiting forever for this game, it better deliver, just kind of take it as it is?
I mean, the way I kind of deal with big releases, and I have for a long time now, is like I don't super follow like, early preview covers and stuff like that. I'm not trying to gobble up every, leak and stuff like that. So I kind of like to go in as blind as I can. Like I'll see a trailer at the Game Awards or during a direct or something like that, and I just won't think about it until it's out. And usually I just kind of reserve all of that until the game is in my hands, and then I'll put all the thought into it. So it wasn't like all this like hype and expectation and did it deliver on that. It's just like, all right, the new Metroid's out. I'm going to play it. And I just let it come to me on its own terms. And it just blew me away every step of the way.
Do you still think there's a chance it will get delayed to next year and help out your fantasy critic?
I don't think I'm helping myself. I'm not helping myself with the score I'm giving it.
Yeah. That's very big of you to not take the score.
I am very curious to see how it's going to review. Because I was thinking for a while, like, 4.5. It's like, there were some things that I do think will be polarizing. I think even though he's not that big of a deal, obviously people have kind of decided that Miles is a huge problem or whatever. He's not. Also, Mike, you mentioned one of those trailers. People were complaining about the desert being empty. Like I can see that being a thing because, like, honestly, it's kind of empty. It's kind of just a place to go to hit some. Yeah, it's a desert, and there's not a lot of. There's not like, oh, here's the more kind of like there's trees and grass. Like, no, it's just it's a rocky, sandy desert. It looks like that throughout.
I hope people do kind of like get the whole. This is like Hyrule Field, or even a little bit like the Great Sea. Now, granted, people complained about the Great Sea in Wind Waker because they thought it was too empty, and I always thought that was a silly complaint back then. So who knows how people are going to react to that?
Well, it's something like the Great Sea, like it was kind of a thing where it's like, oh, I got to pull out the wand, I got to call the thing, I got to do the wind, I got to do all this. This one is just like, sorry, real quick, the way you hop on and off of the bike, it's so. I talk about how snappy it was to like get in the boost ball and everything. You hit the plus button. And it's just it's kind of that Elden Ring torrent style where it's like you're not whistling for your horse and waiting for it. You are just like pressing start. Samus jumps like 20 feet in the air, does like a backflip, lands on it, and boom, you can just hit the boost and go. And like I was testing stuff where it's like I would jump off kind of a little cliff, like a 20-foot cliff, and hit plus in midair, and just like I'll land on a motorcycle, and like you can go from the boost ball to the bike, and it's just it all looks so cool.
They did show that in a trailer where like Samus is driving, and then she like almost does a slight Akira slide and like backflips off, and then you're just in first person mode. I'm like, Samus is so cool, dude.
Yeah, the Akira slide is like if you hit B to boost, and then you hit it again right afterwards, it does like and like that can attack things. And like there are a couple kind of like mini boss type things in the desert. So, there's like, a big like sandworm type thing. And it's just like, you are just like boosting up, like hitting its tail with your motorcycle, hopping off, shooting. It's really good.
Did you play it in the, I assume, 4K 60 mode?
Yeah, because handheld, it is it's 120. I did a little bit of that, but the 4K 60 looks fantastic.
120 mean refresh rate?
Yeah, 120 hertz, which that's cool. Still blowing my mind that I'll be able to play Metroid Prime 4, a first-party Nintendo game, at 120 FPS. Like, I really want to try that out.
It looks so good.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say about it, because I know you're all fans and looking forward to this one, and like,
it's been a long time. Long
it
wait
has,
for
and
this
they
one.
did it right. I think I was a little skeptical, you know, with the restart and everything, and just kind of the spotty history of, you know, even 2 and 3, you know, doing things I didn't quite like. This one, there's just a lot to like.
Metroid Prime 1 is number 2 on my top 100 games of all time. I just checked.
Whoa. Okay.
This is very, very important to me.
It's no baby steps at Jeff, but it's close.
Look, don't spoil. Jeez, Mike.
That's the thing is like we're so close to Game of the Year too, and it's like I had this like, well, I'm pretty sure this is the general order I want, and then this slides in there, and I'm like, is this my number 1? This might be my number 1. You know?
Oh snap!
Hell yeah.
I'm going to ask you for that declarative statement here in a couple, like maybe a week, Dan. You got a week to sit on it, and then I want you to come back and tell me really where this game ends up.
Honestly, I do think if I said that 1 was better, I think you'd have to be talking, factoring in nostalgia. Because in terms of just what the game is doing and the boss fights and just the moment to moment, hard to, like, again, I played through 1 to its entirety twice in recent years. I think this is kind of doing most things, if not almost all things better.
I'm officially excited and don't want to know a single other thing about this game.
Now
I'm
you're
ready to
excited?
jump in.
Don't worry, I'll also talk about it on the Bombcast and you know, in person and everything. So you'll hear plenty about it. So
of course.
Yes, can't wait for you all to get your hands on it. All right, that is my thoughts on Metroid Prime 4. Again, to see it all written out in typed internet letters, that is on giantbomb.com. You can see the stars in person. All the stars. Actually, I did put all the stars on the Metroid
All the
Prime.
stars. Yes, literally all the stars are in this review.
We have 5 of them, and I put all 5 on the reviews. So there you go. You can check it out. But yeah, go play it. It's good.
Thanks, Dan. That was awesome.
Thank you.